Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Luxury Live Show. So, what do you do in a recession? How is your behavior in terms of luxury shopping? And do you think that luxury shops and luxury brands are affected as much? So, that's the topic today. And of course, right beside me is my beautiful co host, Kat L. And we do this live stream every Friday and we alternate between our channels. So this week is on my channel, next week will be on hers. And yeah, so this topic kind of, I think it's sort of became a maybe a bit trending, not so trending, but like a little trending. And then I thought it would be nice to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
So we came up with kind of 5 points each, and those are just things that we think might happen. So it can be related to the behavior of the buyer, it can be related to the luxury shops in general, and just anything surrounding it, right? Because I think, well, the last sort of Great Depression was around 2008. Well, started around 2007 when the financial crisis started crumbling, and then it pretty much lasted till like 2012. So now, 10 years later,
Mm-hmm.
here we are in another sort of recession. Of course, this time it's due to COVID, I think.
I think COVID and also
Yeah.
a prolonged
Yeah.
period of like high growth, and everything was
Yeah.
just people just spending, prices were going
Yeah.
up.
Yes. And of course it never just like stops, right? It kind of it happens gradually, and then it becomes worse because before it becomes okay again. So I'm gonna get let Kat get started, and of course feel free to comment on the chat section on your thoughts. And of course, if you want us to see your questions or your comments, you can type question marks in front. That way, it really helps us spot them. But yeah, I'm gonna let Kat get started. And the first thing that yeah, this is her first
My
point.
mm-hmm. Yeah, so the way that we just thought about it, it's just sort of just discussion, because everybody has an opinion on how recession will affect or reflect luxury. And obviously luxury is not a need, it is not a necessity, it's something that is luxury, right? So like Amy said, depending if you're looking at it from the point of view of buyers, sellers, as businesses especially, and obviously the luxury houses. So I think my 5 points, I'm going to start off with just us in general. So I'm just speaking as if how I think we will be. I think we will be more choosy. We are, it depends on which country you're in as well. Are we really in recession? Some countries say, no, not really. And if you want to be really technical on the term of recession, it is basically, two periods of negative growth consecutively. But I think it's just the general sentiment that we are moving towards a recession that might be really bad. And you see like interest rates going up, people are starting to save more. You're getting more bang for your buck if you put your money in the bank, and that's just what they're trying to do with stopping inflation. So when it comes to luxury, you're thinking, well, should I put my money there, save the money first for that rainy day, or just buy the luxury? I think when during the pandemic, we all went into, like, for me, I personally went into a bit of a YOLO. I said, you know what, we're all gonna die. So I'm just gonna
YOLO.
YOLO it.
YOLO. That's what we said back then.
Yeah,
2019. Oh,
2020,
sorry, 2020. YOLO.
YOLO. Everything. I just can't travel. Everything's going shit, and we're having bad moods. You're trying to fill a little void of this, what's going on in this world. So for me, I did a little bit more shopping, a little bit more than I would have usually done, and I think a lot of us can appreciate or like just feel that as well. So, but now after like two plus years of kind of intense spending, we have a little shift towards maybe I overspent, and now added with that this kind of fear of, well, real true fear, like everything's going up, everything's getting more expensive. Talks of recession is coming to be really real. I think for me, and just speaking in general, like I said, we may not totally stop buying luxury, We'll be more choosy. We may not buy the really high price items, or maybe we would, but it could be only that one thing, that one item for a while. We'll hold that purchase for, we'll really think about it. Really, really think about it. Like, do we need it? We'll consider our collection. So, kind of summarizing it, it's going to be more choosy of what we select. Not that we were not choosy before, but I think now we're really sitting down with everything that's going up. It's expensive. We're just going to be extra cautious.
100% agree. I think for myself, speaking of my own experience, right? I think in 2019, it was just 2019. Everyone was still good. 2020, it was when everything started changing, but it was changing so fast and you almost didn't have time to react. And because of the development of how COVID was and how it affected businesses and even just as individuals, you can't go out,
Mm-hmm.
you have to stay home, and you just feel so secluded and so not necessarily bored, but you just feel so like, oh my gosh, so restricted that you just wanted to live a little bit. So
Yeah.
for sure in 2020, I did feel a lot of YOLO, like, oh, whatever, only gonna live once, and I like it, I'm gonna buy it without having um without having, it's not that we're irresponsible necessarily, but just the thoughts at the time and the feelings at the time just made me feel like, oh, I gotta treat myself. Like, it's now or never. And you don't feel the repercussions just yet because even if recession was starting at that time, it wasn't like the full blown, you didn't feel like all the businesses were closing down yet. Like they started doing that, but like in 2021, that's when you really felt it. A lot of businesses were closed down. A lot of just like a lot of things were super inflated, including just necessities such as food and gas and just a bunch of things where the cost went up so dramatically that even us who do, like, we do enjoy our luxury, we do feel that impact. So that's when like, for me, it was sort of like within the last year or so up until now that I really feel like, oh, okay, gotta be careful. Therefore, the choosy part is just a natural thing to do because you're like, okay, I can't just be like YOLO all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah. You do it once in a while, or we did it that time.
Yeah,
And I mean, for me, I definitely did. I was like, okay, let's just buy it,
yeah.
just sell it. Prices are going up. Everything was just going up. I was like, what's going on?
Yes,
You're getting
yes,
good deals, good deals
absolutely.
from what you bought at like retail price, and next thing you know, it's gone up 20%. You're like, whoa, obviously. But
Yeah,
then everything else went up as well, right? So food, gas, like what you said, then it just became natural that
yeah,
we just started to feel a little overwhelmed. Like everything is just going
yeah,
up. Luxury is as it is. Luxury is not something that I need to buy now. Even though during that time it was like now or never because everything was sold out. It was just crazy drops and it was just impossible to get
yes.
anything. You get a FOMO feeling a lot during COVID.
Well, and also luxury themselves, the luxury brands have been having the biggest increases ratio-wise, and every time the rate of increase was so much higher than they normally did as well. So your YOLO feeling just felt like, oh my gosh, if I don't buy it now, it's way too late later. And that also compounded with the behavior, right? And now everyone's just priced out. So you're like, okay, I'm not just gonna buy everything. Like, yes, YOLO, but I gotta choose because I gotta feed my mouth too, like, or my family, or I gotta, like I gotta pay bills too. So
Or in
yeah,
this
it's
situation, maybe like build a nest because like it's
mm,
probably dwindled thanks to the YOLO-ness. You're like, okay, gotta put back some in the savings, and with all this talk of recession, and so there is that fear, and yeah, so we may not totally stop,
right.
but it's gonna be even more. You're just gonna be even more choosy. You were choosy, but now you're just even more compounded, like you said, compounding choosiness. Like, okay, do
Yeah,
I really? I want it. Do I really, really want it? Then do I really, really need it? I think I can step back, and I
yeah.
I can speak for myself. I've kind of stepped back on a few things. I just say, you know what? That's it. I just can't. I'll buy the smaller things, but no. Okay, so I'll continue all the way.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, okay, so again with the pandemic, a lot of people were still choosing between buying retail and pre-loved, but with the prices being so much more expensive because of that interest hike, like I mean not interest hike, price hikes multiplied so many times, like Chanel and LV and all the luxury houses, you go like, wait a minute, is this really a good bang for my buck? Like it's so expensive now. Then with recession, you just have to make a choice, right? So now you actually, the pre-love market, I think it's going to be, the word is even more attractive. It was going up, but it definitely will not be retail price unless you're looking for hard to get items, like from Chanel or LV. But otherwise, every other brand, I think you can find good deals. And even for me, I'm like, you know what? I don't mind actually looking at the pre-loved. I mean, I have, but it's just now if I still want to enjoy luxury even during this time, I just feel that pre-loved it will be even more attractive. Not new pre-loved, we're talking pre-loved, used, well in condition. I think it will be more attractive.
Yeah. So I think this is definitely a preference thing. As for me, I've always voiced, in fact, my preference and having kind of experience buying pre-loved in the past, and buying a couple of vintage items, I definitely have a preference for brand new, or which is why I always said I prefer retail, but also because the availability here is just more scarce. We just don't have as
Mm,
many. Um, it's not that we don't have consignment stores; we do have them, but the selection is just not as good as what I see in like Japan, Asia in general. They over there, like, it's just literally you walk in and you feel like, wow, there's so much. Like, we're talking about, let's say, a classic vintage Chanel flap. They have so many, whereas here,
yeah,
like, you'd be lucky if you see
true,
one. So
true,
that's that
true.
sort of situation, right? And in the condition that you like. So it applies less to me, but I definitely agree that for people who were already priced out during the first few price hikes, especially, we're talking 2020, right? That for them it would be like, That's it. I just can't spend that money anymore. Like it's just unacceptable. Even if I can afford it, it's unacceptable to me. Then those individuals will tend to just go pre-loved, right? Um, I was never against it, but I definitely think that now, pre-loved has to I mean, pre-love, has boomed a lot, first of all. It kinda also was affected a little bit, which we will talk about in a later point.
Yep.
Even the consignment industry is affected a little bit, but in general, I feel like it's still pretty strong, and a lot of people are looking towards that direction just
Yeah.
because of the crazy prices. Yeah.
So I think I'll kind of repeat this point again when I talk about my fourth point, why I see it being more attractive. Firstly, either you have the money but you're priced out, you said, you know what, I rather go pre-love because I rather pay, maybe have it used a few times, it looks great condition. I'm okay for a pre-love item. But when I talk about my fourth point, this is what you're saying, it also has been affected. And
Yeah.
therefore you could be getting some stuff from there. So let me go maybe the next point.
Alright.
Yeah, this, I think this is very true. This could be just totally stop luxury. Like I think for the past few years we maybe had an exponential surge on buying luxury, whether it's going to different brands or exploring, more expensive brands like for me Hermes and all. But maybe there comes a point where you just said, you know what, this is too much. There's a tipping point when you really reassess your needs and your wants, and you might just say, you know what, recession's coming, I'm gonna totally take a break. Could be a permanent break or a temporary long-term break, and stop luxury. That's it. I just don't want to buy anymore. I just can't take the price increases. Everything's going expensive. Um, I need to save. I've done everything I want to do. I bought everything I want to buy. So I'm done.
Mm. So so speaking of for my own, right? I hope I never have to feel that way, but I definitely know that several of you have reached out individually to tell
Mhm.
that you feel that way, and I totally understand. And of course, you have to do what's right for you, and it's sort of one of those things where you have to do what's right for you, right? And at the end of the day, you can still stop and pick it back up.
Yep.
But yeah, I feel like definitely a lot of people would have had stop recently
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
because of everything crazy going on.
Yeah. So it could, and sometimes when you stop, I'm speaking for this point, it's like you break a habit of buying,
Mm,
like shopping, and then you just decide, should I go back into it? Some may say, you know what, I've taken a long enough break. I don't mind coming back, but you might find that some would say, I actually prefer it like that, and
mm,
they might have done different things, transferred their hobbies to something else,
right.
painting. I don't know. It could be anything, because once you really stop, sometimes you reassess, like, do I really need that? Do I want to buy and spend my hard-earned money on that? So yeah, even okay. So I see a comment there. Let me just pull it up
Yeah.
from Christine. I feel like I'm done buying luxury handbags, at least for
Mm,
now. Yeah, uh, definitely. I think some of us do feel that way. So you could totally decide, I'm done. I have nothing to buy. I have no handbags to buy. I've got all my classics. I've got my holy grails. And with everything that's happening, you might say, I'm going to take a long break. It could be a few years, a few months. It could be forever. So yeah, I think
I
this might
also feel
happen.
that since the pandemic started and a lot of us have had to stay home and have had to get used to new routines and have had to also learn to do a lot of things like DIY, including a lot more cooking at home. Like some people don't cook at home, right? A lot of cooking at home, a lot of learning how to spend time with family all the time in this under the same roof. Whereas
Yeah.
before you had a break from each other. Now you don't. Even things such as grooming, like cutting your own hair, like things like that, you could no longer go to a spa for a while. So a lot of people have had to just get used to new behavior and not just new routine, but new skills. And I think it kind of maybe has an influence on also maybe like for those of us, right, who are actually luxury lovers and we love our handbags and we love our buying things. It may have also sparked a few individuals to learn to stop buying. And that is not necessarily a good or a bad thing, but it's just something that could have just happened because you've had to do all these new things, and that could have been also a new sort of goal or just something that you started. You don't even know if it's a goal, but you just started doing it and then it just became a thing and then it just became a natural progression of like just slowing down, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I don't think a lot of during the pandemic, a lot of people sold their handbags, because they say, oh, I wasn't
Yes,
using
correct.
it, it was getting moldy, or I just felt so bad. It was sitting there. Even for myself, I definitely felt that. So for those that actually took action and put their bags during that time on to the pre-love market, they might actually never want to buy it back, because on top of that, maybe work environment has also changed. You work from home permanently. There's no reason to bring your bag out unless you're going out for, you know, date nights, and also you might find that all your other work bags, they in a way serve no purpose, and you won't want to bring back anymore. So I would think that having this additional reason, which is recession or possible recession, it sort of just escalates, it just compounds. Like you say, compounds the purpose of saying, I don't need a bag. I have like for me, I could say I have my Hello Kitty bags. I actually don't need to bring in luxury bags anymore. So yeah, I feel like some will totally stop luxury temporarily or permanently.
Right. Okay, moving on to the next point.
Okay, so this is sort of saying why pre-love market, I feel it's going to be even more attractive. This is sort of another reason why I think it's it's going to be more attractive. There are those who will feel like, I'm going to stop luxury, I don't want to buy anymore, I'm going to sell my bags. Actually, if you are in the market to buy bags, you're a buyer and you're looking for a great deal, actually you might find some really good deals in the secondhand market. We have personally seen it
Mhm.
because businesses are starting to find it difficult to sell, so they're dropping the prices, and you might find that you might get great deals because you just want to get your bag sold from a seller side. You drop the prices. You might say, you know what, I just want to get rid of it. I don't care if I make a loss now, I make a bigger loss. I don't really care. I don't need the bag. So I'm going to just throw it out there. So things are going to get cheaper. So, and this is like a negative, positive way, because you could be still liking luxury, and it's a great time to actually look for secondhand deals.
Yeah, so of course, this is more kind of like the economy of demand and supply, and also almost like buying stocks, right? You want to buy it when it's low, when it's not doing well, in hopes that it will rise later. So it's a little bit like that. Obviously, again, it's individual basis. It's what you can make work.
Hmm.
Um, I never looked at it like for myself. I never looked at it as like, oh, this is the best time to buy secondhand. Like I just because I'm not into it as much, but definitely I can feel the difference. Um, and you can tell because we always talk about luxury, and this is sort of our niche here from both of our channels, and you definitely notice it on. I'll just use Fashion File as an example because I always look at Fashion File. You can tell that the prices have been fluctuating a little bit. And it was a slow move, but it definitely has moved because for can't remember. I think when I did my first vlog sale since I started HERMES, I had tried to get some quotes on Fashion File for certain things. And wow, the quotes were quite favorable at that time. And this
Mm,
time around, I tried the same thing and it was completely different. And so I felt it because just for myself, even though selling a few of my own personal items, I felt like, wow, what a difference from the quotes initially um when the economy was still not as affected yet versus now, which is only a year difference.
hmm.
Yeah, yeah, you can tell even the consignment stores themselves are having maybe a harder time. And also, maybe more people are selling, so they can't accept as many things, which also affected me as well. Like, again, speaking of my own experience, I was surprised that some of the very popular items they just wouldn't take because they already had too many of.
Yeah,
So that just goes to show, yeah, a lot of people are letting a lot of their things
go.
go. Yeah, exactly.
I'm
Probably
gonna.
because of personal choice, but also personal circumstances for some of them, and just like Kat said, like rather sell it at a loss, but at least recuperate money.
Yeah,
And yeah, it's a tough thing to go through a recession for sure.
for sure. Wait, let me just pull this one first.
Mm,
So, for the love of bags, regardless of recession, there will always be people with money. A
correct.
recession affects people differently, for sure. It's
Yes.
like you would think the pandemic, everyone was, you know, kind of like spending, and some people were, really suffering that time, like there's no job and everything. But the money has to flow somewhere, right? So, there were people getting a lot of money all of a sudden because of the pandemic. Just take example, pharmaceuticals, they boomed during a pandemic. So during recession, there will be some companies that will boom. I can't think of anyone now. And and there will always be people with money, and these people, they will pick up things that are make great deals. Property is one of
Yeah.
them. During a recession, prices are going to drop like crazy for housing, especially if people are selling them. Those that pick up the houses are those people with the money, like lots of it. So yeah, it definitely affects people differently. So in general, I feel like if you are looking for a deal and you have the money, it doesn't really affect you. It's actually a great time to pick up
Yeah.
secondhand bags,
Mhm.
even new secondhand bags. uh new sorry sorry s- Resellers that sell new bags, and you could not get them at the store, they're probably selling them at retail price or even lower, which is surprising. I saw a few already. I'm like, wait a minute, this is like almost a new bag or new, and it's better than what you would have bought a year ago when they were selling for 30-40% more.
Mm-hmm.
Now it's back to retail price. It's just crazy.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull this comment as well, which is kind of what we said. My bag budget didn't change since my salary didn't change, but after the pandemic, bag prices have increased so much that I can only buy secondhand or more casual, smaller bags in the lower price ranges. And yes, exactly. I think we have all felt that for sure. And it just goes to show, even if your financial situation is still steady, your spending power is less just because inflation has gone up so
Yep.
radically fast, right? So, all right, let's move on to the next point.
Okay, so similarly to like stopping, right? Maybe you haven't thought about it. So it's sort of like my point three was where people just, I'm gonna stop. That sort of make a decision. But this point, it's a bit of like a reflection point where it could be time to take a break, like a reset. Because I personally did a lot of shopping in the past 2 years. And it's maybe like an opportunity to say, you know what, I'm gonna take a break. Not that I'm gonna stop luxury, but I'm gonna sort of like a reset, re relook at my entire collection and say, well, okay, I think I'm gonna try and do just use all my bags, just don't think about the next new thing. Though I have been practicing it in the past few months, but maybe now it's sort of like another reason, like, look, there's a real recession, there's a real, you know, financial problems coming up. So maybe it really, really is time to take a break. You had a pandemic, now it's a second thing. So yeah, I think like a luxury reset, reflection time right now.
Yeah. I mean, this could have happened regardless of a recession or not, but definitely during a recession, it makes a lot of people just rethink their goals and their priorities.
Yep.
As for me, um, not necessarily a break, but I guess every time I do an edit of my collection, that's sort of like a reset
Yeah.
because not only was I able to reevaluate what I had just done, like all the damages that were done, but it also allows me to just sort of like kind of spring clean. You can call it spring clean, but it's not really during the spring, but it's just yeah, it's a way of it's a good way to like sort of check in with yourself. But yeah, some people will just use that opportunity just because they don't have a choice to do a reset.
Yep.
Okay. Thank you, Kat. So, the next point I wanted to bring up is that recession, even though it does affect many people, especially individuals, doesn't seem to affect the brands themselves, especially luxury houses themselves, as much. Um, and you can tell, right? Because they keep increasing prices, yet they are confident that people will keep buying, which a lot of us have
Yep.
during the YOLO season, especially. And you see a lot of during the pandemic, right? You see a lot of small businesses closes, but somehow the luxury brands and the luxury houses have been recording record sales. And uh, it just goes to show basically that it doesn't affect them the same way, just as for the love of bags has mentioned earlier, that sometimes it just doesn't affect everyone the same because not everyone is in the same boat. And I think luxury brands themselves kind of have that luxury of being in that different boat, right? They are in that different category and we are their market too, regular people, but essentially they're a lot of their customers, especially the top spending ones, are the top tier, like the cream of the crop of type of people that have that financial capability to spend all the time regardless of what's happening around them. So I think perhaps that's one of the reasons why they can stay afloat and
Hmm.
not be affected. But it's definitely an interesting thing to to notice that regardless of a recession, it may, I mean, it still affects them, but like regardless of it, they still are doing pretty well.
Yeah, it won't, because you would think that during a pandemic it would cause recession, businesses going out of business. So the recession is just like part two of a pandemic. Like it's just
Yeah.
part two of what's ever happening now. And yeah, I don't see any price decreases. I don't see any changes in their business model to have a break in price increases. In fact, you could say that the recent increase in the US dollar, which is so strong now, they actually had price increases in the euro. But that's not so
Yeah.
much of a price increase per se, but it was sort of like this harmonization because everybody was saying, oh my gosh, we should all fly to Paris now because everything is so cheap, which is true. But the luxury houses caught up. So instead of dropping the prices in the States, they said, you know what? We're just going to raise the prices in the Europe.
Hmm.
Yeah, so definitely there is no, it's not going to affect them at all.
Yeah. In fact, the euro, I was just shocked because I looked. It's actually against the Canadian dollars, it's the US dollar is stronger. I'm like, "Whoa." And then I checked because I was just curious because I never checked those things before, but I was just curious and I checked when was the last time it was like this? And that was exactly 10 years ago, 2012.
Yeah, it was
That's
really
when the
low then.
euro also dropped so low that although I didn't check for 10 years ago whether the US dollar was stronger or not, but it was just so low that I was just like, wow, it's incredible. A You could argue a good time, exactly, a good time to buy euro, but it's like, are we gonna do that? Like, we are in
Yeah.
a recession, are we it's like, yeah. But, that is a type of investment if you think about it, and especially if you're gonna use that currency anyway. Okay, so the next point I wanted to bring up is the behavior of hoarding versus recuperating. So, speaking for myself again, and I feel like a lot of people might be in the same boat. I felt like, especially in 2019, 2020, I was really hoarding my items. I was having a really, really hard time to edit my collection or to sell any of my items, which is not a good or a bad thing. It's just something that I just wasn't ready for. I just felt like I I couldn't let go for sentimental reasons first of all, but also the fact that I just at that time anyway, I just felt like, "Oh my gosh, it was so hard to get these items," first of all. Second of all, these items are going up in prices, and you can never get it back at those prices. That's second of all. And third of all, um, you just can't get them anymore because it's just not possible to rebuy, say, caviar minis or a certain model of bucket bag from Chanel. Like those type of scenarios where in my head is like kind of playing in my mind all the time, whereas giving me fear of selling, of letting go, even though I had a new goal in mind, right? So I was hoarding most of the time, but now after having experienced the last 2 years of the actual recession really impacting our day-to-day life, now I really not only am I open to, but I am actually trying to do the right thing, which is to really let go of what I'm not actually enjoying as much. Not that I don't love them, because I love every single piece, but I always tend to use one versus another more, and the other one will be used like once a year, if even. So it's kind of ridiculous to keep it there. So now my behavior has changed more to recuperating, uh, to kind of reevaluate the collection and to do that spring clean. So I feel like a lot of people have probably gone through a mix of these two behaviors, and that definitely had a lot to do with the recession, for sure.
Interesting. So for you, it's sort of coming up with the recession. I think my recuperating mentality
Well, but
started.
also because I started age, obviously,
Oh
and
yeah,
I
that's
needed the
true.
funds somewhere, like, I
True,
can't
true,
just
true.
using new money all the time, but that ties in with the fact that, it's just not sustainable either. Like, recession or not, but, like, especially with the recession too, it just feels like not only is H very expensive to begin with, and you have to do the game, which is a whole different level of spending, but also that everything else at the same time was increasing in prices. And you could really, really feel that, like
Yeah.
insurance, uh,
Oh,
mortgage insurance, mortgage interest, day-to-day groceries, gas, everything was going up. So you could really, really feel it that your spending power is a lot less.
for sure, for sure. I think the whole, yeah, your purchasing power is just not, is, it's so weak now. Insurance,
Mhm.
when you said insurance, I was like, oh my gosh, yes, because I just paid for
Yeah.
insurance. I was like, wait a minute, what happened to like 3-digit insurance? Like now it's like 4 digits, high 4 digits of like, buying the same thing that I was buying before. So yeah, okay, good point. I think
Alright.
recuperating is definitely what a lot of us trying to do now, or could be starting to do with the recession. It's just another reason, right? Okay, I think I need to recuperate, rethink my funds, build my budget again.
Yeah, and that was just speaking of my personal experience, but I also noticed that, like I said earlier, when I try to get some quotes from Fashion File, not necessarily selling to them, but I just wanted to know what the buyout would be if I were to send it to them. But I was just quite surprised that they didn't take half of the things that I wanted to know how much they would buy out for. So it just goes to show that also a lot of people have been letting go a lot. And that just sort of reinforces my, my reasoning that people have been doing that, trying to recuperate versus hoarding now. I think a lot of people were hoarding in the past too.
Yeah, I was. I mean, mine
Yeah.
was definitely not recession so much, but I was hoarding. I think pandemic. Mine was pandemic.
Yes.
My start was more pandemic, but then I also did start a little bit of H then. So yeah, it's definitely accumulation of the both reasons, like pandemic, and then you got H, and you're like, oh my gosh, I can't be hoarding all these things anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, it was a combination for me. So next point was that so very similar to being choosy, but it's also to buy less quantity and more, if we buy, it would be more qualitative. So I think the quantity we can all kind of relate as well. So similar to fast fashion, instead of just buying every Zara season out there, you kind of stop that. You don't buy any more fast fashion, or just very seldom, very, very like once in a while, once in a blue moon type of thing. But instead, spend that money, if it's the same amount that you would have spent in all of that, into a more higher end quality piece, which I think that has a lot to do with the recession, meaning because during the pandemic, we've learned to work from home and all that stuff and needing a lot less things. So what is the point of hoarding all these Zara hauls and Zara things? That's just an example, right? Instead, why not just own one or two of those same things, but much better quality, but you'll get so much out of wear of them. And you reduce a lot of just like excess pollution in general for the environment, just because you're not creating more of the same things and consuming more. And so I feel like that behavior may not necessarily be exactly due to the recession, but a lot of us have reevaluated our goals and just sort of personal behavior, and just you were forced to do it anyway just because you don't need all these things at home.
Yep.
So
I
you
think
kind of learn to do it that way too.
the pandemic definitely made you reassess, right? Then now you're hit with another issue, which is recession or coming recession. You go like, okay, I've already built those habits, right? At the pandemic, learning new things. So now it's sort of, what is the word? Like solidifying it, saying, okay, that's it. This is my strategy moving forward, because you don't know how long this is going to be. 1-2 years of really downturn economy, you're like, yeah, I just don't want to continue. I don't want to start again. Because if it was just, say, now with everything's better, pandemic, and it just went up again, the economy, no talk about recession, I think we would have probably just said, you know what, everything's great and dandy. Let's just go shopping, buy, build. I mean, start back those old or bad habits. But because now you got another situation, it's sort of reinforcing those habits now. Like, okay, let's stick to it. Buy less, better quality, um, and buy those that I actually need now.
Hmm. Okay. Next point. I
Okay.
feel like we are, you know, shopping behavior wise, we are less intended to browse, but we shop with more intentions. So again, relating to my own personal experience in the past, not necessarily in 2019, but just like really in the past when I shop luxury, I would obviously a lot of times I would go in because something was put aside for me, or maybe a launch is coming up and you have to go and try your luck and get the piece that you want. But a lot of times I like to just pass by in the past, right? And a lot of times I would just like to pass by and just browse.
Mm,
And I have actually bought a lot of things, but just by browsing actually, because when you do those kinds of shopping trips, it's you're if you're there at the right time, they just received the piece and you never even knew that they had it, then you're kind of lucky to be able to score those things. So I have actually bought a lot of things by just browsing. But lately, I don't browse. Not anymore. Maybe I browse online more now, which is
mm,
not necessarily helping, but in person, I definitely don't browse anymore. Not only because due to all the restrictions and they're kind of limiting people amount of people in the store, and if you don't have an essay for a while, if you can just walk in, you had to have an essay accompany you. So all that kind of made me learn to not browse because you're not even welcome there in a sense. And
yeah.
so every time I went to a shop to buy something, I had a specific thing to buy. It's not to browse and not to look around, not to try things around. It's literally just to buy it. And so I feel like a lot of people would have been sort of morphed into that behavior more too. Whereas before they kind of like would just shop around, look around, less now. I think now maybe it has switched to all virtual browsing if that is something that people started doing, which I know a lot of teenagers did that because the younger generation, it's their turn to sort of start spending money, and I know a lot of them for a fact have kind of been saying that, oh yeah, every day there is the postman delivering some sort of packages, which I was like, oh, interesting to hear that, which is true even for me, but um yeah, it's just changed the behavior of physical browsing to sort of like more online browsing, which I don't know if it's necessarily a good thing. However, you can't do that with Chanel.
Mm,
So yeah, with certain brands you just can't do. So for me, it did affect my Chanel buying. I just
mm.
wasn't just buying by browsing. I was buying with intention.
Interesting. I think for me, I remember one time I told you, I said, I don't know what people buy now, because I think over, not necessarily recession, but over the years, it's just been, I don't know how to do window shopping anymore. I
Mm,
used to like to browse, but this is talking years ago, where I would walk around the mall and I would go to every store and browse. And you're right, when you browse, you buy a lot of things. But the one that I always buy a lot of things, and I still kind of do it, but not as much anymore, is Sephora. I love going inside Sephora because I love makeup. And you're right, every time I browse around, I buy. I buy something. There's always something to buy. And from the pandemic, it just became quote unquote worse because you can't go to the store. Stores are closed. It's just so inconvenient. It's so uncomfortable with the mask. We only, like in Singapore, we only stopped using mask indoors last week. Was it last week?
right.
Last week or last? Yeah, just last week. I think early last week. We only just stopped, and it's so uncomfortable because you just it's just uncomfortable. So you just don't feel like browsing very much. So you're right. I shop with more intention, and it becomes almost a habit, or like you just don't know what to browse anymore. You just go, you're looking around, you say, I don't know what I want, because you don't have that skill of browsing or window shopping anymore. I walked into Zara and I'm like, um I I just didn't know how to browse. Like sort of, stand
Yeah.
at the rack and flip things. On top of that, I think I've become a bit impatient because I'm just like, what am I looking for? I'm standing here, I'm tired. What am I looking for? And if you're going for a luxury house, I just want to see that one item. I don't
Yeah.
want to browse around because it will kill me, the prices. I'll buy a couple of things. So just get my essay, show me the thing, chat a little bit. I'm out of here. So in a way, I feel like it started pandemic and maybe before for me. But yeah, browse less. Shop with intention. I totally agree with this.
Yeah, I think we still all browse sort of, but like it's a very different way of browsing. Like you said, you just don't even know what you want
I don't
and you
know
kind of
anymore.
yeah, like in the past, for me, shopping has always been sort of my jam. It's sort of like my exercise. It's something that I really enjoy doing. Even if I'm just window shopping in the past, I have so much joy out of it because I can sort of see in my head, I put things together. Sometimes I try it on just to see, have a visual. That's just why I like styling. But lately, I just don't even wanna go into most of the stores, not only is it because it's inconvenient, but just well, it's mostly because it's inconvenient, like, I don't wanna touch things anymore.
Yeah.
I don't wanna touch things, and and I feel like, with luxury especially, it affects it even more for me because not only are they so much more expensive, you can't just casually browse and buy things anymore. It would make you look sort of weird to browse also because I'm sure a lot of people are browsing less now too.
Mm.
So to an essay who's well, if you don't have an essay yourself, if the essays are just like, they can see that you're just browsing, it would look so weird now too. So yeah, browsing is so almost something that I can't even do as naturally anymore, like you
Ah,
said.
that's exactly what yeah, I used to do so much window shop. Just you just spend like the whole day in the mall, you just go into any random shop and you just look
Yeah.
around with no intention of buying. But now I can walk mall to mall, end to end, and not walk into any store. I'm like,
Mm,
okay, yeah. I'm just wasting my time here, getting my steps
yeah,
in. That's about it.
yeah, yeah. And I almost feel before I would be so comfortable doing it by myself, whereas now I don't feel that anymore. I feel like I
Mm.
would need a company to sort of like give me that boost of motivation to browse because at least you have that company to kind of jive with, right? Instead of
That's
having
true.
all the essays eyes on you.
True.
Okay. The last point I wanted to bring up, and that kind of ties everything in of what we said earlier as well, is that I really felt that selling has been so hard
Mm.
most recently. Um, obviously because I've done just one block sale very, very recently. So I really felt the impact myself because um not only did my things not just like fly off the shelf, which I'm not saying that in a like cocky way or anything, but like you just wonder, you're like, whoa, in the past though, right? Even before I even announced that I would have a block sale, I would get left and right emails about asking, are you selling this? Are you selling that? Like a lot of people are just eyeing my things. And now not only am I announcing it in advance and it's live and just like
Yep.
very slow at selling. And in fact, I didn't sell everything, so I ended up consigning the rest, which is a personal choice. But when you do consign, and as we spoke many times before, when you consign, you're letting another person or a company handle those things for you, but you're paying them a big commission to do so, right? And I had no choice but to do that because it was just not going. And you just felt that I just felt the impact very, very much so. And like I said, also consignment stores are also becoming more strict. they're not accepting most of the things anymore. And if they are accepting anything, wow, the quotes have been very ridiculously low as well. So you sort of only make that sacrifice if you have to, or if you choose to, of course. But it was, yeah, it was such a big difference for me, just even from a year ago to this time around.
Interesting. Yeah, it's sort of like what I said earlier, right? Because if you would sell, some will you're taking a hit, right? Because you have the consignment fees and all. Some would say I'll take an even lower price plus the consignment fees, and you get hit. You take a bigger loss, but you would rather that than to keep it around and hoard it because you want to
Mhm.
recuperate. So it's all kind of together. And why are the consignment stores probably taking a hit as well? They say, okay, I'll take the risk, sell your things, but it's going to take a while because, well, people are not buying, right? People are
Mhm.
just being choosy, being more selective, waiting for the good deal. They'll drop prices, will drop a bit more. And unfortunately, it probably started during the pandemic, but we didn't really realize it, and now it's really, really coming to hit.
It really is. And I've had the chance to sort of like, I get a quote and I've had the chance to like just ask like, "Oh, can you reevaluate it? It just seems very, very strange that it's this low." And we're talking about, let's say, brand new Chanel bag that's never been used. And the response was fair and totally is in line with today's subject, is that um sorry, we can't, because if we did, it would probably not sell. And then it's just, that's the best they can do.
Yeah.
And so you're like, okay, you're kind of stuck with, do you consign it? Do you just keep it? Do you hoard it? Maybe
Hmm.
wait, sell it later. So all of these things, it has affected everyone, for sure. And I think the only places that really hasn't been as affected are the actual luxury brands selling those things,
Yeah.
which is a funny thing.
Great. Yeah. I'm going to ask you one question before we end this. So, we said everything, right? We're going to be more choosy. We're going to be, recuperating, selling hard, things like that. So, let's say for you, what are you going to do with your H journey? Are you going to kind of slow down as well?
Good question. And it's unfortunate. I said that in my video,
Because I'm trying to
where
look for the comment. Hang on, sorry. Before you continue, I'm trying
yeah.
to look for the comment from Jo, which she mentioned something about an apocalypse. Hang on. Oh, that was so funny. Because I think I am probably like Jo, but wait, let me look for it. Okay, why don't you say first? And Jo was saying something about I
Okay,
am too
so
deep into it that I have to get.
okay, well, I kind of am too deep into it as well, in a
Oh, here we
sense
go.
that I I felt like I just started. Right, guys? Like I felt like I just started
Yeah,
because I just got my first quota bag. And of course, I haven't stopped shopping, so I am still shopping in hopes of getting a second quota bag. At the very least, I want to get, a Birkin and Kelly, at least.
yeah.
At least, right? That's my current most immediate goal. So, am I slowing down? I think I'm just switching my priorities, in a sense, because that is why I that is why I had to kind of change my collection around. I am still keeping all my favorites, of course, but like I said earlier, among all the favorites that I have, there are things that I reach for constantly and others that I don't. And those are, for me, make sense to let go. Um, and before it's too late, I had to let them go, just so that not only is it helping me now temporarily for this expensive journey, but it's sort of that, coulda, shoulda, woulda. Like I could have sold it earlier, like last year when it was
Yeah.
so in demand, and I probably would have gotten, not just from reselling myself, like I could have just last year accepted a lot of the quotes from Fashion File actually because they were really good. I just couldn't believe the difference between last year and this year. And then just not even deal with selling myself and still recuperated good money, at least break even, right? Whereas it's not so much the case this year. Like this year, I did consign the other stuff that I didn't end up selling, and I actually lost money. And so, you gain some, you lose some, yes. So I don't know if I'm necessarily slowing down, but I definitely feel that after getting my first bag, I'm more calm now. Because before getting my first quota bag, I was just so anxious and
Yeah,
so like, "Oh my gosh, when is it my turn?" And, like, you can't push your essay because everyone's feeling the same way and everyone wants to bombard their essay as well, so you can't do that either, just out of courtesy and out of just keeping everyone sane, not just yourself, but everyone sane, but at the same time, you just can't wait. And so after I received my first quota bag, I felt so much more not
relief,
crazy. Like, I was going
relief.
crazy before, and I'm less crazy now, so I still am chasing after that second quota bag, or that journey is continuing, and of course, one setup at a time. I still want a third one probably, but I'll reevaluate then when I get my second one. But yeah, I don't know if I'm necessarily slowing down. I'm just kind of switching the priority. And before it was, getting Chanel or getting the occasional trendy bag. Now it's more like, okay, instead of those things, we're gonna put our money towards this thing now.
Yeah. So for you, you're sort of continuing, refocusing,
Yeah.
and making a choice, lah, right?
Yeah.
Interesting. Let me pull this Joe's comment. For her, I still want my next 3 H bags, including a mini kit. I'm in too deep now. It would take an apocalypse to stop me.
Yes. I feel the same. I feel like unless I couldn't put food on the table and I didn't have a roof over me, then yeah, I would stop, definitely. But as long as I can still do that, and even though everything else is expensive, yes, I mean, I just eat out even less, or I just buy less grocery, like buy less expensive snacks and things like that. Like, cut cut everything else that I can, but still be able to enjoy and funnel that towards what really.
Well, you did say you're cutting down with Chanel, right? So
Oh
that
yeah,
is,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, Chanel is at par with Hermes, and it's sort of just making a choice, right? Because you can't do
Mhm.
both. I tried to do both early when I first started. It's not possible. I don't buy any more LV, as you can see. I haven't done any. For those who follow my channel, I haven't done any LV unboxings. Not Chanel here and there, but overall, it's really a lot of H, and
Yeah.
it's just a choice because you can't have everything, and it's like what we said. We're choosing less, making choices, buying something that's maybe better quality, which I know Chanel is still good quality, but in recent times, I think the pandemic maybe have disrupted their manufacturing a little bit. There seems to be even more. Not that they are a stranger to quality issues like LB always got, but it seems to be a lot more on many things. So yeah, it's just making a choice to pick something that's maybe more uh safe.
Yeah. Yeah. And of course, we always also said in the past that, the decision to decide to buy Hermes has also something to do with your taste changing and your
Yeah.
age and just like your desire to want the next best thing. So it just so happened that I think with the recession happening in tandem with all the price increases because of the economy, right? And then the recession, it just really forced us all to kind of go that direction as well. Because when every other brand is increasing their prices so much that you're like wondering, okay, well, I could also spend it here where the quality is seemingly supposedly better, and also, yes, different aesthetic for sure, but I'm also kind of ready for the aesthetic now. So it was really kind of a natural thing to move towards Hermes
Good
for
point.
sure.
good point about being ready for the aesthetic, because I'm staring at my handbag right now. I'm like, you are a boring bag. You're boring looking. But today in my eyes, you look so
You're
good.
so pretty.
You're so pretty. I'm staring at it. I'm like, you look so good. But actually, it's quite grandma.
Yeah.
But it's a pretty bag. Yeah, you're right. Ready for the aesthetic. And like I don't see any more. I still appreciate like LV. LV has a lot of good looking drops on bags. But now when I look at those more trendier pieces, they don't spark that kind of joy and interest as they used to, say 5 years ago, or maybe six,
Yeah.
yeah, 5 years ago, where I would be all over, really excited on the limited edition speedies, because I was really into it, with paintings on it, flowers on it. I was almost going to buy the speedy with the when they painted some like masterpieces. They call it masterpieces, master
Oh,
collection.
yeah, yeah, yeah. I
They
know what
had,
you mean.
yeah, the
You know, the
master
one with the Mona Lisa
Mona
and
Lisa on it. There was a speedy on it. There was a blue speedy, and I was like, oh my gosh! At first, it looked so gaudy and just so crazy, but it grew on me over time. I was like, oh my gosh, I want to get one. If I did today, like sitting here today, I would totally regret it, because
right.
it's not my aesthetic anymore. It's just I would have appreciated it then, but now it's totally different. So yeah, you're right. It's I've grown to really like this aesthetic. Simple, minimalistic, good quality bags.
Yeah, I truly think that it has a lot to do with just you maturing. Like not you, me too. I mean like just us maturing because just ask a teenager right now. Like there is no way they're gonna find Hermes bags as exciting as LV bags. There's just no
Yeah,
way.
no
They
way.
just don't like it. And which I felt that way too. Like I would have been way more attracted to that crazy crazy like Mona Lisa. At least, I would be like, "Oh yeah, that's way more interesting. At least you can see the brand name." Whereas like now I'm just like, "Okay, no. I don't want to hold a portrait on my arm all the time." It's sort of like it's just an age thing too. Like you just evolve because your style really, really, really changes. And it's so true. I don't care what people say, they think that you're just a snob right now or not, but it really is like in my teenage years, I liked everything sort of like colorful and different. And I wanted to be like just me, only me wearing it. But now it's like, no, I just want to be blending in with everyone. Sort of like not even get noticed.
Oh my gosh, I had to pull. Okay, so you can pull some of the questions. I think we quite a few
Sure, I'll
questions.
go to the top then.
All right, I'm just gonna pull this comment from Joe, and I agree, Joe. Clara says the same. It's right now. It's Longchamp
Yes,
or Hermes. Nothing in between.
same. I
You're
really like Longchamp. I've always did, but you know what? I didn't like it as much during my 20s and teenage years. I thought it was boring, but now I like the boring. I like that
Yeah.
it's simple, and I
Oh
like
my
that
gosh,
it's
you're aging.
functional.
Can you see my white hair?
I have some too, but it's just inside.
Christine, agreed. I don't find LV exciting anymore. Yeah, we did a LV. We did an LV live about a month ago. We said, "Oh, what's new at LV?" And both of us found
You couldn't choose anything.
it was so. I really looked. I was on the app and I was like, "Come on, LV, give me a bag." I picked a couple, but it was sort of like, all right, I have to pick a couple of bags. But what was interesting for LV was they're ready to wear, and their shoes.
Yeah.
It was more exciting, more fun, in a way colorful, but yet it looked really nice. But their bags were just, oh, what's
The
going
bags were a
on?
bit too crazy.
Too crazy or so repetitive. Like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, a puffy bag in every single design. Puffy Elma, puffy Speedy, puffy, puffy, the round. Oh my gosh, it was just okay. No.
You know what, LV, I still like Monogram a lot.
Yeah,
I just want plain Monogram. That's all.
exactly. Yes, just give me plain,
Yeah,
original. That's it. Don't give
that's
me
all I
any kind of
want.
like puffy LVs and funky colors or melting LV monograms. I'm like, no.
Yeah, I only have right now left in my LV collection just plain monogram with vachetta or the empreinte, the black one. And that's still monogram, right? But it's just black, so it's even less noticeable. And that's all I have left. Because those are the things that I still wear, that I still want to wear. And anything like too crazy, colorful trims and like whatever
Yeah,
designs, it's just
not.
too
Yeah,
complicated.
complicated. Yeah, I think if there's one LV bag that I would get, it's probably in the Speedy 20. That's about it.
Mm.
I think
Yeah,
something
that's a nice one.
for traveling, for every day,
Yeah.
that still has that classic look. That would be the only piece, because I won't get a never full. I see somebody got a never. That's because I already have like a tote bag. Again,
Yeah.
trying to be choosy, trying to think smart. What needs, what's in my collection that's missing? So I already have a tote. And yeah, I don't like any of the new things. It's just, I don't know. Oh, Hermes has made us all boring.
Or we're just getting more boring in a sense that, we're just reflecting our current taste. Taste in your 40s.
Taste it. Yeah. Yeah, when I had a chat with my niece, I'm like, "Oh, do you like? I like LV."
I
Like,
know. And that's what I would have liked to.
yeah,
That's
but
what I liked for a long time actually, even up till my late 20s I was still buying LV. In fact, I just started buying LV in my mid 20s. So I was still liking a lot of LV in my mid 20s, early 30s.
there's that really fun young element to the
Yeah.
brand, whereas Hermes is so. Yeah, only my third. I mean, I've liked the bag. I like the Birkin. Like I was like, oh, that's a really nice looking bag. But overall, the entire brand aesthetic was a little bit too far of a reach in my
Yeah.
20s. It was like, yo, looks like my mother's clothes. Oh, look where I am now.
I am on top and I'm just reading everyone's like talking like economy, interest rates. It's just good to know that everyone is very aware of the current
Situation.
circumstances. Yeah. Oh, I think I saw the comment that you pulled earlier now. Okay. But I see that this topic is a really hot topic because everyone's very engaged.
Mm-hmm. I guess it's really happening. Like, even if you're not talking about recession, it's you can see even for on YouTube, because I follow a lot of luxury YouTubers. I feel like, maybe correct me if I'm wrong. Like, some of you also watch YouTubers, and I feel there is a slowdown in everybody doing unboxings. It's
Hmm.
not as much. It's more of, there's a bit of a, there's some that are doing more uh luxury resets, mindsets, and or just talking about, assessing your finances. So I just feel like, even though we this is our first time talking about it, I just did a general consensus, like a feeling that even on YouTube, the luxury community that puts out videos, I feel like there's a little less of the spending type. I don't know.
Mm-hmm. I mean, at first, I definitely felt like it was something that the subscribers or the viewers are pushing the YouTubers or the content creators towards that direction because for sure, I felt the pressure also myself just based on the comments and the feedback that a lot of people are just getting tired of seeing unboxings, and you know, of course, the pandemic has definitely made that happen for it made that happen because it forced a lot of people to stop spending and to kind of well, not they can't even spend because they can't even go anywhere to buy it. But even if they can, they would not necessarily want to do it just because a lot of people has lost their jobs and just financial situation, a lot of people were affected, and so naturally those individuals with the hardships that they were going through wouldn't want to see, I don't know, another person thrive for some reason. Like it just wasn't something that they felt happy about, that they could feel happy about for them as well. And um, whether it's a natural thing to do or a nice thing to do or not, it's still human behavior. And so I definitely felt that that kind of pushed the content creators to sort of slow down the unboxings too, which is,
Mm.
I mean, it's, I don't know if it's unfortunate or not, but you do you, right? And like Joanne is here saying, I stopped for a little bit because everything seems boring, and
Or the
or the
same.
same nothing is wowing me, or the same things are not wowing me and has made me stop in a way of buying. So that too, everything just became kind of repetitive and people are getting bored of it.
Yep.
Um, However, just saying is saying, I have to admit though that the gifts always lure me back to Chanel. They have awesome gifts. And of course, I love Chanel, and every time I break up, I come back. Not sure what gifts you're referring to,
Oh,
but
probably VIP gifts. They have really
maybe,
good
which I have
VIP
no
gifts.
experience with. But that is, yeah, that is something that, again, it's your own relationship with your store and your essay. And so it's hard to resist when they are such good customer service, right? Anytime you have a pleasant relationship and a um, pleasant transactions and just sort of like understanding with your store, you don't want to stop it because why stop something that you like, right? So it's the two side of the coin for sure.
Okay, let me pull this from MK. MK's here. Not only do I shop less, but I also inadvertently consume less luxury content on
Mm,
YouTube. Yeah, I can totally reflect on this. Not so much on luxury because I well, I make content, though I'm taking a break. I make content, but I also consume it. I consume a lot of luxury content. I just like to see all my YouTubers, watch their videos. But what I have for me is my makeup. My makeup consumption of YouTubers have has taken a nosedive in the past 2 years. I only watch, I think, from maybe 30, 40 makeup YouTubers at a go. I think I only watch three or four. Yeah, three or four. I can actually name them. So it's sort of like, because I'm buying less, I want to try to be better with my makeup shopping addiction, that I inadvertently also decided to watch less. I only watch the ones that I will get, I enjoy their work. Yeah, I can definitely see this happening for the luxury community as well. Good and bad, right? Good and bad for us,
good and
but
bad, yeah.
yeah, good and bad.
I similarly also watch less luxury content, not because I don't like luxury anymore, but because I was so consumed with what's happening. So you kind of, revive my memory during the heat of the, people getting infected and they were still trying to figure out, and there was no vaccine yet at that time. Every day, I I kid you not, every day I was watching the news, and
Oh,
I was watching it on YouTube because I kind of catch the one from the Eastern Canada, from Quebec, because um they still talk about the whole Canada, but at least I wanted to know what's happening there because my parents live there. My brother also lives there. And so by listening to that news instead of the local news, which I also watch at night with my husband, but I catch that one on YouTube because I get to know what's going on over there. And so every day for at least 2 hours, I'm watching the news because every day I just wanted to be on top of like what's going on in the development. And that made me consume less of everything else, just automatic because I have no time left.
yep.
And in addition to that, because we have had to learn to do a lot of stuff by yourself, I also watch YouTube for that. Like I watch YouTube how to cut my hair. I watch YouTube how to do this, how to do that. And I just ended up having less and less and less time to watch luxury for that reason. So it's not really directly because I consume less luxury there for that, but it's more because I had the need to know what's going on around me.
That's interesting that you refresh one memory of mine. So what I picked up watching on YouTube, and I think yeah, it's because of the pandemic and I had so much like because I was alone and all. I picked up watching true crime. Like
Oh,
I
yes,
always
I remember.
I always enjoyed, CSI,
Yeah,
forgot.
a lot of crazy things was happening too every day.
Yeah, but
Crazy
there was
behavior, crazy, like, break-ins and looting, and oh my gosh, it was so much.
so the three like big YouTubers that I picked up watching, and I think it was thanks to one of my videos, one of my get ready chit chat videos. I was saying, oh, if anybody has recommendations on, true crime. Oh my gosh, I didn't know so many people are true crime fans. So I binge watch Mark, no, Mr. Bolland. I watch Bailey Sarian and I can't recall one more. So there were three of them. I sat down. Oh, Coffee House Crime. And I just watched true crime. No time for make. I had to give up one. Like I can't do makeup YouTubers and luxury. I said, okay, goodbye makeup. I
Yeah.
didn't do much DIY because in Singapore it's not. Yeah, we don't really do DIY, but yeah, that's where all my time went. True crime.
Maybe because I watch DIY because I like to know how things work, even if I'm never gonna do it. Let's say, like, changing a tire. Even if I'm never gonna change a tire, I still want to know how to do it. Like,
Oh,
that's just the type of person I am. I like to
oh,
know how it works.
actually that's good because you never know it becomes important. Another one that I watched.
Oh.
This is like taking time away from luxury content is plastic surgery. So
Oh, I was recently, I think because we were talking about Evangelista, yeah, in
oh
one of the members' live, I kind of flipped through my book and then she appeared in my book. So we started talking about her and I was like, "What? What? What?" All that happened to her and I didn't know. So somehow, maybe because I started looking for her
it
video and
takes you
then
down the
all of a
rabbit
sudden
hole, right?
all the videos that are related to surgery or whatever are coming up.
Yeah, I watched Dr. Yoon. The that guy who has alopecia, that doctor, what's his name?
Yeah, I forget his
Yeah,
name, but
yeah.
he's
I
pretty
also
good.
watched him. He's pretty good, and it becomes very informative. So yeah, you're right. In a way, just like your attention is diverted from just luxury content. It
Yeah.
does make you not want to browse anymore because you're not seeing the newest new
Yeah.
issues or upcoming stuff. So yeah, it's definitely, I guess it's healthy in a way.
Well, I don't know if it's good or bad, but I definitely do feel that myself, I consume less, but also that people are consuming less of my content as well.
True,
You can
true,
see the
same.
drop in the views as well, which, it is what it is, but it's just interesting that all of this is happening. Okay, I saw this comment I wanted to bring out from Corinne. I bought my very first H bag, reveal coming,
Oh,
and it's pre-loved, and I never thought I'd go pre-loved route, but it happened. So yeah, I feel like um
congrats.
something that you never thought you would do. Again, it's sort of like the pandemic, the recession, it's sort of making you not only reevaluate, but you're like it just makes you change your behavior almost somehow.
You might
And
consider a pre-loved.
me? Oh,
Or
why? Yeah, I would. Like
yeah.
for certain things I would. Like let's say if we speak about Hermes, yes, I'm still after I know what my next wish list is, but if for example I wanted to get like a larger Birkin or a larger
Mm,
Kelly, I would not waste my time waiting and spending a whole year or plus just to get that because the larger size bags are more affordable on the pre-love market and you can
true.
get really, really good deals. More affordable as in like it's more closer to the actual retail price, current retail price anyway, whereas you don't have to spend all that effort and money to do all that game, which is a lot of pre-spend, a lot of visiting your store and nurturing your relationship and keeping touch and all that stuff is a lot of effort that isn't worth it, right? So I totally would consider Preloved if I wanted a bag that is um, you know, not the tiniest size, which is, on the pre-loved market is quite high right now. So I'm okay to do that. And also I am still, like I said earlier, I just felt like I'm still so new and I just literally just started a year ago, well, almost 2 years now, but I just still feel like I'm quite new. So I'm not quite done yet with the retail experience. But yeah, it was definitely an experience.
Okay, I'm gonna pull this as well, like an experience for MK. How come most of us have been so obsessed with H? Have we all really been maturing or just brainwashed? Years
Mm.
ago, H used to be seen as too uptight bourgeois. Is that how you pronounce that? E-
Yeah, bourgeois.
bourgeois. Okay, even by middle-aged women. Interesting question. Let me ask back to the audience. Let's ask back to the audience. Why are you also obsessed with H? Are you all maturing or been brainwashed?
But before I became sort of that Chanel big fan, isn't Chanel also like that before? Just for older, mature ladies, and they would have like one bag they would use a lot. They wouldn't buy like a collection. I feel like, fashion or for that matter, luxury bags has definitely become that sort of commodity that, people now it, it's sort of people now are into collecting, whether it's handbags or toys or cars or just very specific things like sports cards. And I don't know, people collect all sorts of things now. And I feel like handbags has definitely kind of like moved into that direction because it's just another another area where people can get kind of addicted and have something to be preoccupied. And um I definitely feel like maybe that's maybe part of the brainwashing, but maturing, I do feel that it has to be one of the reasons. It has to be.
At least
'Cause
for their design. Not
yeah.
so much of the brand. Maturing for the brand, I don't think so, but maturing for the look. The look is very matured. I would not have considered the look, like the clothing, or the shoes. Oh, the shoes. When I was in my
The
20s, like,
loafers.
oh my gosh, the loafers. The royal loafers, like with the
That's
tassels.
the first thing I said to my essay when he showed them to me the first time. I said, "Oh, yeah, not my style."
Wow,
And
wow.
I'm not kidding. That's the first thing I said. I'm almost like, ugh, like I almost like gave that look, right? That gasp. And he was like, "Oh, really? Those are so popular." I'm like, "Okay, I don't want to be rude, so I'll try them on." But you know what? I tried them on and I'm like, "Oh my gosh, why are they
They
so
actually
good
look
looking?"
good.
And all of a sudden I'm like, "Hey, I'm into this now."
you're you're an old middle-aged woman now.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Like,
you're
I didn't
it,
even see it, he saw it. So, like, you know what? It just takes a little bit of nudging and maybe just, like, open mind. I think that is what it comes down to. You just have to be open-minded. You may not like it because you don't think that you will like it. But once you try it, and if you're open enough to try it at least, you can say no in the end, right? But if you're open to at least try it, you'd be so surprised that you're gonna like so many things.
yeah, true.
So many things. Even
I
the scarves, I'm not kidding you guys. Like the
Yeah,
scarves, you
scarves are
look
so
at them,
pretty.
yes, it's artistic and it's so beautiful, like as an image alone. But I always thought in my head too in the past, like, oh, people that wear so much patterns on their neck. I always felt that it looked old. But
Mm.
hey, look at me now. I'm like a scarf hoarder. And it's just like you just don't even know that you like it until you try it. And of
True.
course, you incorporate your own spin to it. Obviously, I still feel like at heart, I still feel like I am young and
Hmm.
I will be able to like make it work for me.
Yeah,
So, yeah, you just make it work for you basically. You can still make it look fresh and young, just by styling it the way that you do.
Yeah.
So it doesn't have to be old and granny-ish, blah blah blah. Like,
I think if you address head to toe in it, it might look a bit
mm,
granny-ish, especially if we don't style it like right. Uh, for me, I don't know. It's definitely maturing into the look. Brainwash. I'm not gonna say totally no. There's definitely some element to it. I mean, it's marketing, right? It's telling you, oh my gosh, we're the top of the tier of the biggest brand out there. True. Um, there's that element of being, trying to be getting the bag from the store. That's also marketing and making you feel like it's really special. Maybe it's really not special. But having said all of that, their bags are really good. So
yeah,
I mean, if it was crappy, right? If it was crappy, like you get a bag, you're like, oh my gosh, it smells plasticky, the stitches are coming out, you don't get that experience. I think most of us will say, hey, okay, we tried it, great, done. You're not so great after all, because you can't keep up a marketing ploy if your stuff isn't great. So
yeah,
it has to be at par. You want to play, you want to make this game out there for us to play. You better make sure the bags that you give us are good stuff. Like when we get it, we want to be wowed. And so
yeah,
far, so good, right? So far, so good. I
yeah.
no complaints on that.
And you know what? I wasn't making this connection earlier, but now that I think about it, my mom, she used to always say, and I was too young to even understand that before, but every time we would shop, obviously it's nothing luxury, it's just really humble beginnings, but every time we would shop, she would be like, "Oh, the shoes are made in Italy, therefore it's high quality," and or, "Oh, the leather is so nice and thick and grainy and whatnot." I never really understood that because to me it's like, "Oh, it looks ugly," or whatever, like, right? Whereas I'm more attracted to like, oh, if it's different, if it's like multicolor, then I'm attracted to it. So before I was less concerned about quality. I really was. I was more concerned about the look. How it
Yeah,
looked, yeah, like how special it looked, how unique it looked. Now I'm kind of more like my mom and I think about, "Ooh, yeah, that leather is so nice," or that or, "Oh, it's made in Italy for shoes, right? It made in Italy and for bags made in France." Like in my head, I'm like, "Oh yeah, those are like,"
good quality.
especially when the quality is there, like the leather quality, the actual making of the bag, you just feel the difference. And yeah, I really think that is definitely maturity, which I could care less before, honestly.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
and now if we're talking about recession, you want to make your money work for you.
Mm.
Like really, really work for you. Totally not luxury. Just randomly, I'm sharing this. I have this pair of cycling shoes that I bought like 2017. I refuse to get rid of them. They are falling apart, but I've used them for so many years, for so many cycling classes. They are great quality shoes, but I finally had to replace them like just this week. I was like, okay, I am going to buy myself another pair of cycling shoes. And obviously not talking about Hermes, but these shoes, you think of it, it's just, I don't know, I just don't want to spend on it, but they're expensive. And this is where I'm like, I am buying quality, quality, because I need them to last for
Yeah,
a long, 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 long time.
yeah,
And this kind of, like you said, mentality, right? You want to make sure that if you buy this Hermes bag, it better be good quality. It better
yeah.
be able to be fixed if there are issues with the bag. Hermes is not going to say, I've got a 5-year warranty on this bag. No, no, you're going to take it back. You're going to fix it. And that's
Yeah,
what they
spot.
do.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, I'm still kinda quite up there in the comments, Miss Animali. I read on a forum that that Chanel in Qatar reduced its prices on its classic flap. Mm, that's a
Wow.
little unusual, right?
Is that because their
Is it a
prices were
price adjustment though
really
because of
expensive?
currency?
Oh.
Is it because of currency adjustment, or is it just because they've gone too far and they need to come back down?
Yeah, possible. It could be very, very, very expensive there. So they
Mm,
adjust it down. Possible, yeah, possible like a adjustment.
yeah, I think before when we experienced the very first 30% price increase at Chanel, remember the mini, it was the mini square flap. Literally, it went up like 30% overnight the first time.
Oh yeah, I
And then they did it again the same year, and
14th, yeah,
saying at
retail.
that time that buy before it's too late, but then at one point you're like, okay, they're doing it again, and you're like, okay, well, it's gotta come back down at this point. Like, you can't just keep doing 25-30% increases because people are just not gonna buy. I mean, most people at up top, yes, they will buy, but like everyone in between, like all of us, we're just gonna be like, "Ugh, sorry, man. We're just gonna have to choose. We're gonna buy one maybe, and just like we're done, right?"
Oh,
Tough.
and we forgot to say one more. I just realized one more point about recession and luxury. Because there's a recession, everyone is buying, or everyone is, oh no, not everyone, but there was a large dip in speculative currencies like Bitcoin. Cryptocurrency just took a nosedive, like pooh. So because of that, actually, a lot of really, really, really expensive things have gone down. Watches, for example, are now selling at half price. Those watches that you could not get before, fifty
Is it
thousand.
really
Oh yeah, fifty
because of
thousand dollar Patek
cryptocurrency?
Philips. Cryptocurrency definitely made
Is it because
things.
those brands are invested in crypto?
No, people who have crypto were just throwing their crypto bitcoins and buying all these, or buying all these expensive things and pushing the prices up. They're definitely speculative, but with everything that's happening, um it'll never disappear, but it's dropped a bit. And I think with that, prices that are really, really unreasonable, like watches, are taking a had it as well. Yeah, Rolex, Patek, these watches now you can get them at the secondhand market for 50%, no, maybe not, 40% discount. I actually saw one watch on a reseller market. I actually saw it in store, and it was like $80,000. I was like, no, that's crazy. That's crazy. Yeah,
Really?
and obviously it was there still, like, but
Yeah.
marked at that price. I was like, who is buying that crazy watch? And just last week, I saw it being posted again on IG, and there was like a 30,000 discount on it.
Uh,
I was like, okay, there you go. That's one watch that was overpriced. Definitely people are throwing it now, like, oh, it's time to let it go. I don't want to earn, 3 4 times the price anymore. I want to earn double the price now.
mm.
Yep. Oh, thank you for sharing. Yeah, a coin like Luna crashed. Yep. So people are, because cryptocurrency is based on nothing.
Virtual
Nothing.
currency, yeah.
It is speculative, though. They say they had the technology in the back, but truly, if you have those, because there's so many of them now, if you have one of those that you're kind of like betting on, like Dogecoin, yeah, it's crashing. It's crashed. Oh yeah, the
You
watch
know,
mark.
it's funny because like
Yeah.
the watch market. Oh wow, okay. I would never have made the connection of, first of all, because I don't follow it very much. Not just watch, I also don't follow crypto. But I just had to look it up what it was because at first I just didn't know what everyone was talking about. I'm like, what is this? And then even though I know what it is, I just still don't. I'm like, it's supposed to be sustainable, apparently. Like, it's supposed to be something that will just keep going, even though it's virtual and it's made up.
It's made
But
up.
I still like in my head, I'm still trying to make that connection. I'm like, it's just it's so weird. It's so weird. I go back to like thinking about what my parents might might have felt when they stopped understanding what we talk about. But like I don't know, the stuff that we talk about makes a lot of sense though. Like it's just computer stuff, like zeros and ones, and coding and whatever. Like that still makes sense. But like crypto is just
It's
a
digital
whole
currency.
different
Yeah, it's kind of
currency.
just
Like
I'm not that good at it, but I from what I understand is the technology that they use, sort of like the your ones and zeros, but for crypto. And
yeah, like when I was like
it's all numbers anyway.
yeah,
Like
well, yeah, they, you have to like, you need like a lot of servers and powerful computers to like mine them, and you're like, like, who the heck? Well, first of all, who the heck is mining them? Someone is mining them, and it's finite. Apparently, there's only a certain
that's
amount.
that's for
Once
Bitcoin.
it's
Yep.
done, it's when it's all mined, it's gone,
That's
and
the
then
story. that's the
huh?
that's
That
the
is the
marketing
story.
story. It's like the American dollar. You can just print it. It'll be infinite because it's not packed on gold anymore.
Well, what that's the thing, like with actual
It's based
like
on trust.
money,
It's based on
yes.
trust. Even for the crypto, it's based
Well,
on
that's the
trust.
thing.
Everybody
Crypto is sort of
believes.
like from the internet, right? Like you just buy it, like with money from countries, it's at least the country, like the government that see that's where like the disconnect for me is, and I could never understand how people even get into it. And the thing is, the funny thing is that it's the younger people that got into it. They're the ones who are like sort of really into it.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So
So we're
really,
missing out.
I'm telling you, the maturity thing is a real thing. Like I don't even understand this anymore. And I'm not even stupid, okay? I just don't even understand it. That is just weird to me,
It's just like speculative, like it's
Yeah.
speculative. But if you got into it early, I think you'd be a lot richer now. When you bought a Bitcoin at $1 or a few
But if
cents.
you have to be reselling it though, right? To be rich. Otherwise, it's still just you're
Yeah.
just still
You have to
you're
exchange.
just
You have to,
owning.
yeah, you
Yeah.
exchange it, yeah, at the crypto exchange. Yeah, yeah. But anyway, it's crashing because, like you said, it's what is it? So, unlike
Wait, is it
banks,
crashing because of the recession too?
it's it's a okay. So
So people are no longer
people
confident in it?
confident. There's definitely a confidence in
Yeah.
it,
But
right?
why?
Well, in a way, you are holding nothing. In a
Yeah,
way,
but they were always holding nothing.
yeah, but now there's that fear, right? So you want to get out now because it moves like this, not like stocks, right, where they move like this. It is like this. Like one
So
day,
maybe they're not confident because there's the recession also happening in real life,
yep. So
and
they need cash.
people are reselling.
So they are
Okay.
selling it out like, wow, they
Yeah.
need cash. So I'd rather sell my Bitcoin right now, which
Yes.
is at 50,000 per coin, than at 30,000 per coin, because tomorrow it's 30,000 per coin. It's like
Right.
it's really bad. And then you got all these news of coins crashing. They're not doing well. Ethereum and all, it crashed. And where you want to buy something that's more like you want to, if you're thinking about it, can I take out my 50,000 from one Bitcoin and put it in a secure space, which is a bank, actually see my cash and earn some
Yeah,
higher
yeah, yeah,
interest?
yeah.
That's definitely one. But banks, they might run on a bank. Like Venezuela crashed. You can't take out any money anymore.
Gosh.
So I'm fear mongering. So buy gold, buy solid gold.
Oh man, even gold. I mean, if a true apocalypse happens, gold will do nothing for you
Grab your
either.
bag.
You can live in your bag. That's what I said on my IG. I posted that lately I've been watching Primal Survival, because literally, if you really are in an apocalypse, how to make a fire, how to make shelter, how to get food. Oh my gosh, you learn so much on those things. It's very, very, very primal, like rudimentary, like literally surviving in the wild. But to me, that's more interesting. Anyway, it's funny. Why are we talking about this all of a sudden? But
Watches and
watches.
crypto. Yeah, I mean, no, it's true. Like on top of that, you have all these like bad, like it's not even quote, it's actually bad news, right? You have stock market's not doing so well, interest rates going up. Then you hear the
Mm,
other market, the
right, yes.
parallel market, the crypto crashing, or well, some crash, but it's dipping. People are just not confident anymore. There's this trust.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right, Joe. Trust. So it's just all of that, and you can see in the luxury market which prices of watches were the ones that were the most crazy. Like, you think bags are crazy? Watches, they were just
Mm,
selling at, I don't even know how you can price it. Like Pateks were selling at 4 times their pricing. I mean, you buy them at retail, they're already calling 20, 30,000. It's 4 times that price. You're like,
mm.
what? No. But yeah, they were.
But in a way, banks are also in a similar position. Maybe not as intense, but it's still kind of intense because I just saw a comment earlier. Maybe I passed it now, but I think it was Joe who said the which one it was, like the pocket one, the pocket Birkin
Oh
something.
yeah, yeah, the pocket Birkin.
Yeah, was more recently, but kind of before this whole recession was really in full blown, was reselling for 60K and now only 40, which like in a matter of what, a year. So even with bags, it is also happening, but you
Yeah.
also wonder, it's really the same story. Like people are inflating the prices because I guess at that time in point, that is sort of the demand and people are willing to pay for it, and now people are less willing to pay for it, and so like the confidence level also is declining, but it's always going to be up and down again as well. Will it ever go to the crashing point with bags? I don't know. That is an interesting topic to maybe
Talk about it.
um,
Yeah. Do you think, like, with all of this, like, because the B, like I think Joe was saying, like the B, yeah, the pocket B, is it? Or the B25. The price now, you can get it from the pre-loved market for less than 20, which is
mm,
which is crazy, because
yeah,
all this while a secondhand B is at least double, at least.
right,
But now it's less. So
yeah.
makes me wonder whether H would realize this and make the present a bit less.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, but if they do, see, the thing is, again, these bees that are appearing out of nowhere are resold from regular customers, right? If H does that and they allow less pre-spend or quicker to get it for countries like mine, are people gonna be more inclined to keep them because it's easier to get, or are they still gonna kind of be letting them go? And at what point will the market readjust itself where it's actually makes sense to let them go if you wanna let them go? Like, I can't possibly let any of mine go because it took that long to just get one. So, but I'm just wondering for everyone else who are letting them go because those are available out there to buy, like, what are they doing? Why? Why are they doing this?
Yeah, no idea.
Yeah,
I,
I can't get it.
maybe those are the ones that they get without much pre-spend. Like those that you will see from now on
Maybe.
would be, you get it from less high demand countries, or from
Or
France,
they already have so
where,
many.
yeah, 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 or from France where there's no pre-spend, or I don't
But
know.
even in France, it's a lot harder now. Tourists are not as uh readily able to get offers. Like they would be lucky. They would be counting themselves really, really lucky if they actually got anything. Because I know personally a few people who went there and couldn't get anything. Like quota bags.
Okay, it could be like this. Maybe a scenario is, I'm done. I personally am done with my quota bags. Let's say I'm
Mm,
not saying I am, but let's say I am. Got everything I want. I'm making a trip to Paris. I try my luck. I get a bag, and I'm gonna make some money.
yeah, I guess if
So
you're done with your journey. then yes, you keep going, but you're just reselling them.
Yeah, or I'm not even into Hermes, but I know there's this market for crazy women who want bags. So I'll go line up and get a bag.
But you have to have a lot of sort of resources to play with to do that. Unless or also, yeah, resources yourself to spend that money and then to resell, but also to have a connection where you can safely and confidently hand it to you so that you get that profit yourself, right? Like it's to me it just seems so impossible to do
Hmm.
because I mean, come on, if you're getting 1/4 bag a year or even less, and on top of that, you had to pre-spend all that, then it just makes 0 sense to do that. To me, it makes 0 sense to resell it.
Spoken like a true collector. But
It
not
really is
but yeah,
though.
it's too difficult. But look at this. Catherine is saying there are 5 Black
Oh my
B25s in a
gosh.
resale store in Singapore right now. Take your pick. There are tons. I guess I'm speaking
Oh my
from
gosh.
an Asian perspective, like Asia, right?
Yeah,
Malaysia,
yeah.
Singapore, even Hong Kong. There's just it's just a lot. And I don't I think that wouldn't be an issue if I was a person who had no interest in bags, truly no interest, but I have interest in the profit, that I would
Mm. This is a
actually
business
go.
to you.
Yeah, it's a business transaction to me. I would line up in Hermes and get a bag and come back to Singapore or come back to Malaysia and just walk around Orchard Street or Bukit Bintang, walk into a consignment store and say, look, I've got this bag. I want 20-30% of it, 40% on it. Yeah,
Mm.
I would totally do that if I was not into bags. But like you said, if I was, it would make no sense to do it.
Yeah. I just saw this. I'm still kind of halfway there. Fashion file quotes are insulting. They must have new people giving quotes. I agree. I feel like fashion file has just been so drastic. I still sold a couple of items with them recently, but I just was like, ugh, I'm only doing that because I had no choice and I just didn't want to deal with the items myself. But it's just so ridiculous now. It's
Hmm.
not even, like, fair, like, in the past, it was sort of they still have to make their profit, yes, but now it's not even that fair anymore. It's really, like, so not fair. Okay, this question has nothing to do with our topic, but I thought we could answer it. Does the leather in Bottega, Jodie's, and Mini Pouch are they hardy, or can you only use it a few
Oh,
times? So you own the
I
Mini
oh
Pouch.
yeah. Is it the pouch? Yeah. Is that the pouch? No, wait. Is mine the pouch? Yeah, mine's the pouch. The
Yeah.
the one with the weaving. I forgot all the names already. Yeah, it's pretty hardy. I think Bottega has really good quality leather. They use really good quality leather. If you're getting the regular pouch, which is the smooth one, I think it wears a little better than the one that's intricato, because with the intricato, each little square, if you use it a lot and there's a lot of rubbing on the kind of like the weaving part, the sides do turn up a little bit, but that's because of wear and tear. But overall, the leather itself is good quality. I don't think you'll get any treading, any peeling, any um shredding or peeling. So definitely can use it more than a few times. It's good quality leather. But if you want something that's longer lasting, maybe not the version that I have, which is the intricato. I see that will have more wear than the regular for the mini pouch. As for the Jody, I think the Jody doesn't have much. Yeah, the Jody as well. Yeah, the regular like smooth leather. But on the downside of having the smooth leather are scratches, right? Because
Mm.
you get this that. But it's still one piece, and being lambskin, they use really good quality, tough lambskin. It's not delicate.
Yeah, I feel like when I read this question, you're maybe like trying to figure out the lambskin just because, you think of Chanel lambskin. Chanel lambskin is
Mm,
sort of like really. depends on the season. Uh, I have felt a few Bottega bags myself, and I have to say they feel hardy. They definitely do.
Yeah.
But are you gonna really like, you know, put the kind of wear and tear, like the everyday wear, you don't care, and swinging it around, knocking it, not like that. I don't think it would still survive that unless you don't mind your bag looking beaten up. But if
Yeah.
you're just using it, as a normal, careful person, then it should be totally fine. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, Shiza, if you had to guess, which brands or retailers do you see taking the biggest hit?
Hmm.
I could see Neiman Marcus, Net-a-Porter, and
Going under.
going under, yeah, which used to be institutions. I didn't know Net-a-Porter was going under.
Hmm.
I didn't know that.
Oh no, she said I could see. She could. It's like
Neiman
prediction.
Marcus, I see that, as
Oh.
in that it's already happened to um the one closest to where I live in Bellevue, but Net-a-Porter, I
Hmm.
don't know why. Why though?
Well, they have really
Net-a-Porter
tough
is in the UK,
competition.
right?
Tough
And it's more online
competition.
presence.
Hmm. They don't have the best prices though.
True.
Like you have Essence, you have
Yeah.
Farfetch now, you have
Mhm.
Louisia Roma, all this, and I feel like
My
those have,
Teresa.
yeah, My Teresa. They have so much better pricing and more deals than Net-a-Porter. I hardly see Net-a-Porter deals.
But I feel like Net-a-Porter is more for like the pricing that is better for them is like Hong Kong, maybe UK, maybe I don't
Oh.
know, maybe US, but maybe not US. I'm not sure. But definitely I feel like Hong Kong and UK, they're doing pretty well there. For sure not here because yeah, every time I check compare the prices between all these online retailers, for me in Canada, the worst one is probably Net-a-Porter.
Oh, I see two comments from Clara Zila and Evangeline Kwan.
Why don't you pull it?
Net-a-Porter, yeah, at the bottom it says that Net-a-Porter is being sold, or is being sold
Oh.
to Farfetch. There you go. They might not
Oh.
go under, but they can't. Yeah, I don't see them being able to compete with these big guys. They just
Yeah.
they just exponentially became so large. Farfetch especially.
Yeah, Net-a-Porter's stock though, I will say is not doesn't have as much variety as Farfetch and Essence. Like Farfetch and Essence, they also have sort of that lower tier contemporary brands, which a lot of us love to shop, myself included, because you can't always just buy the most expensive, even though I'm going for quality rather than quantity. But still, you can still be in that mid range and have amazing things. So I love that Farfetch sells Longchamp, for example. I
Yeah.
love that Essence sells Marc Jacobs, for example. And just you don't have that in I don't think you have that at Net-a-Porter. I don't think so. Pretty sure they don't have that.
Ooh, we've only got 7 minutes, so let me see if there's any. Oh. Okay, do you have any more on the top? I have one more at the bottom
Go
from,
ahead.
let me pull it now. Okay, from Shiza. What if the counterfeit market starts booming because there's more demand in pre-loved? What if these bags aren't real?
I
Counterfeit
think it's already
market.
happening.
It's always been there. Like, I think it's whether it would be worse
Yeah.
or people would just say, "That's it, I'm done. I'm not gonna carry that $15,000 or 10,000, 12, $15,000 Chanel bag. Just give me $100 fake AAA grade $1,000 bag, not 100. AAA grade probably is 1,000.
Triple A.
A triple A, triple A plus plus plus, made in PRC. Yeah. No,
Oh my
actually,
gosh.
even Korea.
Anything
Korea.
can be possible because you've got that virtual currency now too. What is it called again? Bitcoin. Yeah, like you've got things like that. And the first time I heard about the fakes being sort of coveted by the rich people in New York City, I'm like, what is happening? Like those people, they can't afford the real deal, right? They can, but instead they go for the fakes, and I'm just like so perplexed at what is actually going on in this world. But yeah, I would say not that I
Maybe they know
understand it.
something we don't know.
Well,
Maybe they're
but
like,
that's
you
the thing, like, I just don't understand it, right? Like, exactly, I don't know Bitcoin and I don't understand it, therefore I will never really get into it, but, like, yeah, maybe there's something I don't know as well about the fake market, what is so appealing to it that I will also never get into, but, like, I'm just, so perplexed, and I just feel like it's probably gonna get worse. It's probably gonna get worse as in, like, for them, it's getting good.
it could be like, say, okay, just scenario only. Maybe I really want to own a Himalayan diamond Birkin, but I know in my entire life I would never be able to own it. But
Okay.
I, what if I paid 3,000? Okay, I'll give you a $3,000 handbag. It's real croc. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe not real diamonds. Maybe they are diamond, man-made diamonds. They're the
Yeah, zirconium.
zirconiers, or maybe it's like the diamonds that are actually
Oh,
man-made,
lab
lab-grown
grown?
diamonds, lab-grown
Yeah.
diamonds. It is an actual Himalayan Birkin, but not the real thing, not the real brand. But I paid $3,000-4,000 for it. But it's croc, it's croc.
Well, okay, I understand the reasoning behind it, but then we also always said in the past, because what is the point of all this time, right, where counterfeit is such a crime and this and that, which I do believe, because it is intellectual property at the end of the day, like your design is being stolen, your like idea is being stolen, so is that now okay? And
Mm,
since it's okay, then it's okay to make these fakes and just have them pass, not have them pass as real, maybe, I don't know. Are they actually gonna tell people, "Oh, yeah, this is a fake," and be proud of it?
maybe they won't say, yeah, actually this is a copy, and people are like, oh
Hmm.
wow. So it could be just that I'm never gonna buy one, so here I've got one that I'm experiencing it. So they're actually not shy or not embarrassed. It's actually it's a choice that they want the design, may not even put the brand there, but have that kind of experience. I don't know. Maybe it's
But,
possible.
we always said that, we can have that experience by buying dupes. But
So
that's where I don't know, like, dupes, they're not gonna
what
be
if
the
that is a
same
dupe?
thing.
What if that is the dupe? Like that's like the triple A quality dupe. Okay,
But that is a replica, it's not a dupe then.
where do you cross the line with a dupe?
Well,
Where is
dupe
that?
is inspired. It may have some, component that is inspired by the real thing, but you cannot call this a Birkin or whatever,
Oh
right?
yeah, yeah. They may not call it a top
So
handle,
these things, these fakes, what do you call them?
top handle flap, top handle flap with strap.
Top handle flap.
Strap with
Himalayan top handle flap. Oh my
with
gosh.
lab grown diamonds. Yeah, top handle, bag with flap. Yeah, no,
Well, you see, that's where I kind of don't understand, because for the longest time it was not acceptable to counterfeit, right? And here, I'm gonna bring this comment. If you want a croc handbag, don't buy Hermes, just get another brand, less expensive. Which we've been saying that. Like, if you can't afford the real thing, which is totally fine, get the Marc Jacobs, get the whatever
get
other
the no brand. Get the
Murda,
one.
whatever, like,
Yeah,
because that's been the accepted thing to do. Like, get the Zara for that matter, but to get the actual fake replica, that to me seems such a strange concept that
it's
people actually
acceptable.
do now. And it's the people
Yeah.
that can afford it, which is the strangest thing in my opinion.
Yeah, I don't, that I don't know.
Okay. Bring a super fake for traveling and you can put it on the floor and bash it around. But still, I don't want to be like seen for me myself, right? Maybe you can call me old fashioned, but I don't want to be seen with a fake. I'd rather carry a Longchamp that is made of leather or carry a Murda with croc embossing or actual croc or whatever leather it is. Like, I would rather get those.
I cry. I'll carry my Longchamp.
Yeah, I love Longchamp actually.
uh, yeah, yeah. It is quite. I think it's quite common. We just don't see it. We just don't see that people are actually carrying fakes. But yeah, you do you, man. Whatever.
Right. I guess it's yeah, it's a strange concept for sure. And I have yet to see this happen here. But then again, luxury is not so big in Canada. In the grand scheme of things, Canada is not the most we're not the biggest consumers of luxury. So I don't see it as often. So for me, it still feels very normal here. It's not like everywhere you go, you see
Oh,
someone carrying a Birkin or whatever. Like you don't actually see that often.
yeah.
Um,
I'm gonna pull this last comment from my H journey. For the super rich, it used to be jewelry that they buy fakes, and you know
huh?
what? It just really no. It suddenly like reminded me of this um conversation that I had. I went into this was years and years ago. I wanted to buy a ring, like a big diamond ring, just to experience what it's like, right? And I didn't want to buy like a crystal, like a zirconia. I was thinking, I'm going to spend a little bit more for a better quality one. And not like today where they have man-made diamonds, they're actually real diamonds. It was diamond simulants. So they are, I don't know what they call, I didn't call lab grown. Actually, they're really good quality diamonds, man-made diamonds. And they were from this brand called Gordon Max, quite a big company. And you could get like a 3 carat ring, like a 3 carat diamond. It's very expensive now, but that time I remember I was like, what? That's like $500, 600. It's still really expensive because literally it's not real, right? You can't sell it for anything. But the girl in the store, she was telling, oh yeah, we get a lot of datin and datuk. So datin and datuks or rich people, they come and buy, like they go for events and they want to sparkle. They don't want to, they're gonna buy like a $5-6 million necklace, right? But
Mm,
they'll buy this because it's about the look. And and they're not cheap. Like you buy a full diamond quote unquote diamond necklace, it's still a few $1,000s, right? It's money that yeah, basically lost. It's just costume jewelry to them.
mhm,
And she would tell me Datin Dato. Datin Dato is like you call them Datin Dato. It's like Duke and Duchess. They're ranked, right? They people of money, people of power. And she said, oh yeah, a lot of Datin and Dato will come and buy our diamonds. And I was like, what? So you
ugh,
see how they say, yeah, they'll buy a big diamond, like yellow diamond, gigantic 10 carat thing, and you see them all sparkle in their magazine pictures. They look like real diamonds. They look so real. But no, fakes. Gordon Max. Yeah, Gordon Max.
Well, okay, I can understand for certain occasions, like what Clara is saying here, right? When I travel, I just wear my cubic zirconia, which is fine. Like I can understand that. But what I cannot understand is w- well, actually maybe I don't understand the context of the kind of that trend to buy fakes. Is it just so that you're still carrying the look basically the same look, but at least you feel safer if it gets stolen, it gets stolen. Is that why they're doing that? Like that's where I'm kind of perplexed because I guess I don't understand the context of why they're doing that.
Maybe like I carry it. It's really top quality fake, but it's a bag. Like they're so rich, right? This is an accessory. This is a fashion jewelry to fashion item
Yeah.
to them where it's fine. I don't know.
But okay, I saw another comment and we'll end with this one because we have to go. Uh, but this is yeah, I have a you keep the real thing in the bank and use the copies. I guess safety wise, I understand, but like, what is the joy in owning it then? What is the point?
It's the thought that I have it. This is just a copy.
There's no point. You can't use it. There's really no point.
It's like, maybe it's like the queen, God rest the queen, she wears the crown, but it's probably a copy. Like the real thing is in the museum or something. I don't
Okay,
know.
yeah, but that's okay. But like, like us, right? We have this collection of bags, and we always talk about cost per wear. And if we don't wear it, we should just let it go so that someone else can enjoy it, and then we also get our money back to buy something else we actually enjoy. So like that makes sense to me, but to like not enjoy it at all, just to own it and get a copy of it so that you can use it because you get the same look. Like that to me is so foreign. It's just so strange. Like
Because
what is the point? Don't even buy it.
no, because it's the novelty of owning it. I have it.
Yeah, that novelty I don't understand because I feel like what's this whole YOLO talk that we were just talking about? That doesn't even exist
But that's
anymore.
because we're mere peasants.
We're presents. only the high up there actually buy
They
fakes.
get it.
Oh my
They
god,
get
that
it.
is so convoluted.
They get it. It's like I own horses, I own a giant bungalow, I own a mansion, but I don't go upstairs. I just own it. I have it.
Okay. Well, you know why? That is why I like my simple, just black Birkin. I don't even care about Himalayan because I'm not gonna wear it, so I don't want to own it actually. Actually, if I did own it, I will never wear it. That is probably what I'll do.
And you get a copy and you put that in the bank. You get a copy and use it. You can say, this is a copy because the real thing is in the bank.
Oh my gosh. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed today's topic. It was definitely super interesting. And yeah, the chat was super lively today. But thank you all so much for watching. The next luxury live stream, public one, will be on Kat's channel. It will be next week. So we'll see you at the same time, same day next week on her channel. And then members, we have a live stream tomorrow.
Different
At 8.
timing though.
Yeah. Same time as what we started today, but tomorrow. So we'll see you members tomorrow. And yeah, we'll see the rest of you on Kat's channel next week.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.